Welcome to part 7 of our Newfoundland adventure. This time we experience a moose on the loose and rolling Capelin. We are on the Avalon Peninsula in the capital city of St. John's. Heart's content, heart's desire, come by chance, Witless Bay. Dildo. Newfoundland has no lack of towns with unique names. Back in the 17th and 18th centuries, the word dildo referred to any cylindrical object. It is believed that the cylindrical object in this case referred to the pin on a rowboat used to attach the oar, also known as a thole pin. In spite of its innocent origin, the name can still elicit a giggle or a gasp from someone hearing of this place for the first time. Thanks to Ken Pretty for this recent capture. I think a modern day trip to Newfoundland is not complete without a trip to Dildo and the Dildo Brewing Company. Jimmy Kimmel helped spread awareness of this quaint little town when he sent his field reporter Guillermo to the town and did several bits from the Dildo Brewery. I have a link to those in the details below. Jimmy funded a Hollywood-type sign to display above the town as well. We stayed at Pippi Park in St. John's. It is a really nice campground right on the edge of town. There was another 80th birthday celebration for Rebecca's mom in St. John's. Lorraine grew up on Bell Island as well as in St. John's. Friends and family attended the party to celebrate, share stories, and reminisce. One evening, as me and Rebecca drove to where the family was staying, we noticed a police car and some people gathered in a yard. We didn't think too much of it. Then we heard commotion outside and were lucky enough to catch a glimpse of a young moose running up and down the street, wondering why people would not leave it alone. Thank you, Inigo, for sharing some of your video footage. It was definitely excitement for the family. The next day we met Aunt Ida and Cousin Shauna at the Rooms for lunch. The Rooms is a cultural facility that houses an art gallery, the Provincial Archives, and the Provincial Museum of Newfoundland and Labrador. There are great views of the harbor from its balconies. This 500-year-old city is one of the oldest in the New World and is the easterlymost city in North America. Its roughly 100,000 plus residents enjoy a mix of big city luxury and small town charm. St. John's is known for its charming character and colorful houses. We made it out to Cape Spear one morning just as the sun was rising. Cape Spear is the easternmost point in North America, excluding Greenland. I just learned Greenland is part of North America. The views are amazing. One day we headed for a drive along Conception Bay. We stopped in Brigus, a small fishing village becoming more popular due to it being the home of HGTV, Canada's TV program called Rock Solid Builds. Cousin Andrew, the timber framer in Nova Scotia, talked the show up pretty good, so we had to check out their shop. We didn't see the show until we were back home. We were immediately hooked and enjoyed reliving our trip through their show. I made a decent haul. We were able to ride our bikes from Pippi Park Campground down to Kitty Vitty Harbor. The narrow harbor with steep cliffs and colorful cabins and stages make for a picturesque setting. Next, a group of us headed south for a few days exploring the Irish Loop. We're getting ready to go out on the Molly Bond. I forget what cove this is, what bay. Do you?
I don't remember.
All right. Close to the Witless Bay Ecological Preserve. Hoping to see some puffins and whales. It's a nice little boat. We're going out with the family and see what we see. As we boarded the Molly Bond, We were greeted by Arwen, the whale-sniffing dog, and Janine, our knowledgeable guide. We headed out into the fog, which soon opened up to clear views of an island teeming with puffins, cormorants, terns, kittiwakes, bald eagles, and more. We saw a couple of minke whales and were constantly impressed by the views and the bird life.
Oh, there's a whale right straight, about 10. About 10 bucks.
Puffins were skipping across the top of the water and flying overhead. We had a great time out on the boat. We saw 3 or 4 minke whales, a ton of what seemed like a million puffins. They were swarming like bats.
And
other birds,
loons,
murres, bald eagles, and just beautiful sea life in and out of the fog. And what a great trip. Thank you, Molly Bond. Base camp for some of us was at Manche Provincial Park, while others were in Torres Cove. When Matthew and Courtney showed up at the campground, they told us that the capelin were rolling. Capelin are small fish of the smelt family and are a food source for a lot of the regional sea life, including the humpback whales. In early July every year, the capelin come right to the shoreline to lay their eggs, and locals say the capelin are rolling. And lucky for us, someone who was harvesting capelin gave Matthew and Courtney a big bowl full for us to fry up and try for ourselves. The nephews were very helpful prepping the catch for our dinner, and the tacos turned out very tasty. Capelin tacos tonight. Woohoo! Feel like nothing's happening. Yeah. God. You pull it out and everybody gets all awkward. And I'll just have to play music in the background. And somehow adjust the weird faces. The next day we took the mile-long hike to La Manche Suspension Bridge. It was a trek for me, but it would be easy for most. You are rewarded with a waterfall, beautiful views, and a cool suspension bridge. Later that evening, we headed to the Torres Cove base camp. I could see whales from the front porch, and the Capelin were still rolling down at the beach. We hope you'll join us next time while we spend more time along the Irish Loop and then head towards the Bonavista Peninsula, and we paddleboard a place that looks like Tahiti. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the notification bell so that you will be notified when new videos come out. Comment down below if you have been to any of these areas or wish to someday.